In my excitement, I've mispronounced the king's name in this one. It's Javavarman.
Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples with myself, Mr. B. And you find me at Banteay Pier, Chaon. And that is a temple within the Koh Ker complex. And there's many temples here, but it's quite the ride to get to this place. And it is fundamentally an abandoned city, because this was the seat for the great Javavarman IV. And he built some incredible temples here. And today I've filmed just a few of them. And in the entire day I've been here, I have seen literally a few locals. I mean, I've seen nobody. I'm walking around an ancient city in Asia and I have it to myself. What could be better? And each and every corner I turn, I see something new. But there isn't always a lot of information on each of these temples. With this one, I have a single fact, but it's an interesting one. Because this temple wasn't a temple to Shiva, which is the most common that I come across. This is one to Brahma. Now, he was the Hindu creator god. Now, what I'm going to show you now is going to serve two purposes. Firstly, show you that very god, and also show you the statues and the sculptures that used to dwell here. Have a look at this. Now, what you're looking at is a sculpture of Brahma, and it is just exceptional. I mean, this now actually dwells in a museum, but did come from this very site. And it's an incredible thing to have and to marvel at, but it also echoes the sadness, because at the Koh Ker complex, because it's so isolated in its own way, in the jungle, it meant that those looters could come here and work their evil deeds knowing they would hardly be interrupted. And they looted the bally-ho out of this place. I mean, everything was stripped. Just imagine if dear old Brahma could actually be here in one of his actual homes. How much better that would be. But alas, not. But that doesn't mean that it's still not an absolutely wondrous place to visit. So I ask you, as always, take my hand and let's see something in a far-off land that is mystical and wonderful. And here it is. It's very impressive. What I see is an enormous tower through the centre here. And it's showing a particular feature that I'll get onto in a moment. Now, this doorway here with these two mighty pillars probably at one time had an incredible lintel on top of it. So we've not actually stepped inside the temple, so to say, and already, you know, there's marks of it being looted heavily. Now, this site at Koh Ker isn't on the UNESCO list yet. Sambor Prayer Cook, which is a kind of similar site but much earlier, the temples are nowhere near as grand as these. That is, and it receives an awful lot of funding. And this one will, I'm sure, with time. And I've actually just noticed there is a lintel left. Woohoo! There is one over here. Now, is this going to depict Brahma, or are we going to see somebody else? Because, right, there's not an awful lot to tell here, because his head, or whoever's head here, has gone. But the reason they didn't take this one, it's just too big. It really is large. But in front of us is the centerpiece itself. But it is through here we need to go. Now, we've been through the doorways and we have this almighty tower soaring towards the sky. And in here would have been that statue to the creator God. And we are walking in the very steps of those ancients. And it's when I got to here, I realised I had to cut some stuff to this video to show you something absolutely wonderful. This is an incredibly large plinth. It is huge. So the statue that would have gone here would have been enormous. But there's something I have never seen before. Now these insects you see crawling around, I see all the time. They live off bat dung, and I can be in temples and the floor is literally all these. It's a carpet of these. But it's not those I'm showing you. It is this. Have a look at this. Now these go all the way round. There's another here and there's another over to the right just there. But this one is the better of them. And to me, he looks like a goose. You see this plump chest and his thick neck. He looks very much like a goose to me, but I could be wrong. Now we do know that Shiva travelled round on an eagle called a Garuda, but this is no eagle, that's for sure. And it'd be out of place anyway, because this isn't to Shiva. But the detailing on this is wonderful. Have a look at this. Isn't that beautiful? And it must have been buried for centuries for it to remain in such fantastic condition. Now there's two shots I want to show you. One is how big this tower is. Second is that single block of stone egg, because it's enormous. And I always feel it's important to show you how bally big these things are. I have to keep moving the camera back and back and back, and it's a pain in the neck because we've got rubble everywhere, and trying to get it stable, as I say, is a bigger task than people may realise. But it's important, and I'm willing to put the time in, because if I don't show you the size of things, what's the point? You know, it could be made of, I don't know, matchsticks or something. But have a look at this. I mean, you've got to imagine the ancients walking this very path here and coming across this when they themselves in fact live in small wooden huts with palm leaves, and they see this. And even more so, as we know from seeing the plinth, right here was one almighty God. I mean, it just bends the mind. But imagine back then, if you were a lowly farmer coming into this ancient city, you would walk away just in complete and utter astonishment at what you had seen. Now this is the second piece I wanted to show you, again to amplify the enormity of this particular temple. I'm going to have to step out of frame because I just can't get it in. It's this single stone. Now, let me show you how big this is. And as I'm showing you, I mean, actually think they had to lift this thing. We have this beautifully carved edging here, but it is this big. So I can easily lay down one end, and I'm a little shy of 6 foot, and I could do the same there. This is 12, 13 feet long, and it's as deep as my knee. And bear in mind, all you've got is rope, basic rope, and of course the power source that is that mighty elephant. And this is why I bring you to places like this, because it really does open the eyes as to what humans can do if they set their mind to it. This is the best angle I could get. And it's not very pretty. Look at this industrial size scaffolding. And I am standing amongst all those insects yet again. But I know from experience they do not bite. But how could I stand anywhere else to end this video? This is the very spot where the mighty Brahma, the god, the creator, once stood, in this enormous tower. And where you are is where people would have come in and worshipped him and respected him and asked them on bended knee. They would have asked him for his blessing and his good fortune. So here is the correct place to end this video. It's been an incredible temple. I'm running way behind time. I've got at least an hour and a half to get to my hotel and the batteries are running low. It's been a very full day. As always, please like, subscribe and comment. And if by chance you could sprinkle a few coins into my Patreon account to help me to catalogue these temples, I would be truly grateful. That address is patreon.com/temples. Until next time, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. Take good care.